So myth number 2, socialism is bad. Socialism is a dirty word. Oh, we don't like socialism. Well, the past week or two, I've been involved in a lot of these socialism conversations. And what I'm finding is most of y'all don't know what socialism is. Because what I hear often brought up, they say, oh, socialism doesn't work. Socialism is this, it's that. Because it didn't work in Germany, because it didn't work in Cuba. Even somebody even brought up Venezuela or some shit, and North Korea, and that's socialism. That's what they say. Interesting. That's not socialism. That's examples of socialist nations. That's what they're in effect using as their definition of socialism. But they're confusing socialism with what is a socialist nation. Those are different concepts. Those are different things. America has a long history in socialism. And y'all like it. Y'all like public schools. Y'all like public water. Y'all like turning on that faucet and that water comes out and you didn't have to dig a well. Y'all like those public bridges and those public highways and roadways. Y'all like the FDIC. You like that your money is backed when you deposit it in a bank. You like... Leave that door open, baby. For me. For a little bit, yeah. Thank you. Y'all like FHA loans. Y'all like public housing. So when did it become bad? It depends on who you're talking to. Black people don't understand politics, economics. We don't understand those things generally as a group of people. So we tend to regurgitate what we hear other people say. We tend to regurgitate talking points that we heard on the news or our coworkers, some coworker or somebody said, without investigating and understanding for ourselves what it is we're actually talking about. When did it become bad? It depends on who you're talking to and where they live. So, if you're a white family living in the Midwest, you have a large farm. You don't complain about socialism when you're getting farm subsidies. You don't complain. Don't say one word. Because you don't consider the farm subsidies as being welfare. Which, that's what it is. That's what it is. Now, I haven't said I'm against it. I'm not against farm subsidies. I never said that. What I'm saying is, if welfare is bad and we're going to end welfare, we got to end all of it, is what I'm saying. Let's put it all out there. But then they go, oh, no, farm subsidies is not welfare. Yes, the fuck it is. That's exactly what it is. To me, it's a necessary evil. I understand why we have farm subsidies. I understand why we have welfare, or as they call it, which, we're talking about SNAP benefits, food stamps. We're talking about Section 8. I understand that. I understand. I understand why we have those things, and they're necessary, and that's fine. But let's call a spade a spade. But what tends to happen in America, and we can go back to the 1930s during the New Deal, when all these programs were rolled out. Social Security, FHA, Housing Authority, Public Works, all of these work programs for young white youth, and these farm programs where they had to teach the Southerners how to be farmers and provide them with tools because they didn't know how to do it after slavery. There was a lot of programs during the 30s. Nobody complained. And go back to the images when they were selling America on these ideas. The images, the imagery, the propaganda, if you want to use that word, that was being pushed on American society was poor white people. Go back. Just do a Google search for images for FDRs New Deal, and look at the flyers and the images and the advertisement that they were creating. Poor white people. Nobody, and when I say nobody, I'm talking about as a whole, as a group of Americans, we weren't complaining. Those programs were welcomed. What were those programs? Socialism. That's what they were. That's what they were. But again, it's always interesting when I get in these conversations with people. The first thing they pull up or bring up to prove to me or everybody that socialism is bad, it's dirty, it's nasty, it doesn't work, is Russia, Germany. That's what they pull up. Every single time. To me, that's a lack of their understanding of this country. And we're having a discussion on America. Why are you going back to Germany? Why are you going all the way to Russia, to Venezuela, to Cuba? Why, if you're trying to tell me what's going on in America, why aren't we talking about America? Because and part of it is ignorance. Again, like I said, they're confused about the definition of socialism. They're confusing it with a socialistic society, or they're confusing it with socialist nation. Those are different things. America is not a capitalistic society. It's not a democracy. It's not a socialist. It's not a republic. I've heard that. A constitutional republic. I remember that from Poli-Sci 101. Okay? Remember all of this. So, what are they talking about? They're just throwing out stuff. Again, most people think they're smart. Most people think they are smart. I don't understand that either. You know you were dumb as hell in school. You didn't miraculously get smarter. That didn't happen. Many of y'all at best was C students. Let's be real about it. And that doesn't mean you're ignorant. That means you're an average American. That's fine. Even when some of y'all went to college, you weren't a scholar. You were an average college student. And all of that did was reinforce your stupidity that you had in high school. You already thought what you thought before you got to college. You may have adjusted some of your thinking, but majority of your thinking was already defined. And you use college to reinforce what you believed. Because a lot of us, we're subjective people. We're very subjective. We don't let the information we research form our opinions. We form an opinion and then go try to research things to support what we already believe. That's what many of us do. And it takes a conscious effort not to do that. Some of you may have not even been aware that's what you do. I was at a point, at a time of my life, I was that way. Somebody had to point it out to me. So maybe I'm helping some of you at some point. You need to reevaluate your own thinking. The average American only reads one book a year. One. And we're not talking about history, economics, politics. We're just talking about any old book. The average American. Many of us don't read anything unless we're forced to. And when I'm talking about reading, I'm talking about books. I'm not talking about Facebook links and Google. I'm talking about books. I've been to a lot of y'all's houses. I've been around. I've known a lot of y'all. I ain't never seen books in your house. Some of y'all ain't never seen read a book ever. Not even when we was in school. You ain't even want to read then. Before the internet. We had to go to the library. I wasn't going to the library. The average black person don't even have a library card. Everybody in my house got a library card. My grandmother, Joyce Johnson, her bedroom looks like a damn library. And always has. That woman reads more than anybody I've ever seen. And maybe that's why some of that rubbed off on me. I've always been an avid reader. Okay? And I don't like digital books. That's not something I personally do. I like the texture and the feel of an actual book. Yeah, Mr. Tech Guy here. I don't like digital books. But we don't know. We assume things and we get a little bit we think because we have access to information that we are informed. It's not the same thing. All you're doing is regurgitating words. You haven't processed anything. You don't have any understanding. And that's what we have today in this social media instant access world. Everybody thinks they're a scholar now, which is hilarious. And like I said, I don't know where that happened either, where, again, you've been dumb all your life. And now you've been on Facebook for 5 years or whatever, how long you've been on Facebook. And now you're a political scientist, you're an economist, and you're all of these things. And I don't understand where that ideology comes from. And then you run across people who have been truly smart and truly intelligent all of their lives, and you can't handle it. Can't handle it. hilarious to me. Socialism has been rampant through American society. Here's, again, like I said, when did it become bad? Depends on who you're talking to and where you are. In most places, socialism only became bad when non-white people started getting the benefits of socialism. So a friend of mine, he brought up, he disagreed with me and said, well, he brought up my home state, New Jersey, and he pointed out Essex County, which is where I'm from, Newark, East Orange, Irvington, West Orange, South Orange, Montclair, all that. If you know anything about New Jersey or you want to look it up, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, they're complaining about no, socialism isn't good there because taxes are so high in New Jersey and this and that and blah blah blah. Okay. New Jersey, and particularly the area that he's talking about, is built on socialism. When those areas were predominantly white, 90%, 80% white, they weren't complaining. They weren't complaining. It wasn't until later on when white flight started happening and people like my grandparents started breaking down the racial barriers in those towns and moving out of Newark into the suburbs of Newark, like East Orange, which used to be a suburb. Now it's a problem. Now taxes are too high and we're spending too much money on this and that and this. Well, when we're spending the same amount of money, actually we're spending more money on taxes. Tax rates were higher back in the day. When they were spending more money, or a higher percentage of their money, let's say that. Because if I don't say it that way, somebody's going to pull up the exact dollar amount, not adjust for inflation and all of that crap. So the percentage of their taxes were higher back then. Taxes have gone down for the wealthy. Now it's a problem. So when those highways, those big highway projects, Garden State Parkway, 280, Route 22, Route 46, all of these highways, these huge highway projects and road projects, that's socialism. They weren't complaining. New Jersey is a top 5 public school system in this country. Top 5. I think Massachusetts is number 1 or something. New Jersey is top 5. Well, that's where that tax money goes. You want nice things, you got to pay for it. That's what the governor of New Jersey just said in response to the governor at Texas when he was, when they had that little Twitter beef going on, Hey, we give you a lot in this state of New Jersey for these taxes. And it's not it's not until you live outside of New Jersey do you realize that. Are taxes high as shit in New Jersey? Hell yeah. But what you get, the value of what you're getting for your dollar is far more. Top 5 public school. Come down to North Carolina. We're like the bottom 40 or maybe high 30s. I don't know. I know it's always low. The school district is horrible here. And it's funny to me because people always move down south and one of the first things is, I came down here because I wanted my kids to go to a good school. What are you basing that on? You moved 50 states, people. You're in the bottom half now. So you left a top 5 state to come to a bottom half, maybe in the 30s when you rank them from 1 to 50. Because you thought that was an improvement. Where is your logic? If you were concerned about education, you would have stayed there. Or you would have moved to Massachusetts. Or to Rhode Island or one of them other states that are better than New Jersey. You wouldn't have moved to the southeast. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But again, they hear something, they get information, they get words, and they regurgitate it without processing it themselves. New Jersey has one of the best park and recreation systems I've ever seen, and I've lived in a few states. We used to get, I was telling somebody, they never been, outside of North or South Carolina. I can't remember who I was talking to. And I was telling them, yeah, the parks used to provide the kids lunches every day during the summertime. And they said, what? I was like, yeah, we used to get sandwiches, apple, juice, milk. Be a nice lunch or whatever. They was like, you didn't have to pay for it? I said, no, the taxpayers paid for it. That was something that was taxpayers made happen so that the kids had lunches. We don't have anything close to that in North Carolina. Nothing close to that. Socialism. So, again, it's a dirty word now because black people and brown people are getting some of those benefits. When it was solely whites, it wasn't even called socialism. They didn't even use that word. It was nation building. That's what it was called. Nation building. Economic recovery. And use words like that. But it's only welfare and socialism when we're talking about black and browns. So when they put up the images of welfare, and when they talk about welfare with the images and the propaganda, it's always black people images. Even though more whites are on welfare. But that's the word that they want to scare. They like to scare middle class whites with that. They're not telling the truth. Nation building. Economic recovery. Now we have some black people. You always have black people who like to co-sign or follow along with whatever white people say. And when I'm not saying every white people, please don't understand my language. When I say white people, I'm saying mainstream America, that image that's being presented. Is that every single white person in the country? No, it's not. There's a lot of white people who are saying exactly what I'm saying. Okay? So don't do that. Don't say, oh, it's not me. Well, I have a friend. I don't give a fuck about your friends. That ain't got nothing to do with this conversation. I'm not talking about my friends or my personal experience. I'm talking facts. I'm not talking about one black friend who goes against the norm or goes against the idea to prove my point. I don't do that. I've already acknowledged, hey, there are more white people on food stamps than blacks.
Don't you dare. I see what you're going.
So when people try to shift the argument, they try to deflect the argument by bringing up that kind of stuff. I have a friend who lost a house, or I have a friend who did this, and so your argument must not be true because I know one white person who had some hard times. That's collateral damage. Okay, the plutocrats understand that. Of course, poor white people are gonna get caught up with poor black people. They understand that. That's collateral damage. That's an acceptable loss to them. We're talking about groups and majorities and minorities. That's what we're talking about, not individuals. And we're not even talking the idea of socialism or the attitude towards socialism changing when it goes from majority white to majority black or black and brown. We're talking about, again, like once it gets below 80%, once we start getting them into them 70s, 60s, and 50s, that's when the complaints start coming. Because none of these programs are benefiting predominantly black people in any of these areas. Essex County is like 40% black and 42% white, something like that. So we're not talking about it being like Essex County is 90% black all of a sudden. We're not talking about that. We're talking about it's only 40% black. It's still 42% white. White people is still the largest group of people in Essex County. But the attitude changed. The attitude changed. Once it dropped below 70 and 80%. See, again, when it was 70, 80% white in the county, these programs were fine. The same programs. These aren't new programs. These are the same existing programs. Now socialism is a problem. It's the same socialism when it was 90% white. Why is it a problem now? Taxes are lower. That's the hypocrisy. America, again, like I started to say, I don't think I finished the thought, isn't a democracy. We aren't capitalistic. We aren't a federal republic or a congressional republic. We aren't any of those things. We are all of those things. We are a combination. We have a hybrid society. We are a hybrid. We are a combination of all of those things. Capitalism didn't build the middle class. That's not how the middle class was built. This whole notion of, we worked hard. White people saying this, it was hard work. No, the fuck it wasn't. It was the New Deal. That was socialism that pumped billions of dollars into the white America, in the white American middle class. That was the New Deal who did that. That was socialism. Be honest about it. Then we can have a conversation. But we always want to feel like, because I benefited from socialism, that means I didn't work hard. I didn't do something, and it is diminishing me some kind of way. Nobody's saying that. I'm just saying this shit happened. You can't deny it happened. This shit is on the books. But see, what happens is they don't talk about it. Again, we don't like to talk about that Reconstruction period. We don't like to talk about that period. I said this before, we go from slavery, Civil War, civil rights. That's what we do. We leave out that 100-year gap all the time. And a lot of shit happened during that 100-year gap. A lot of shit happened. We got to start, if we're going to truly get to, and we're not there yet, in a post-racial society. We're not there. And if we're ever going to get to that point, we have to start having honest conversations and owning up to our shit. We've never done that. And that's why we have stupid stuff that's said all the time and it gets repeated over and over. Make America great again. We should scratch out the again. Because America is supposed to be all of us, right? So at what point was America great for everybody? Or even the majority of people? What year? Tell me a year. Tell me a decade where everybody was good. You can't. You can't. Tell me a time when, in the past, where we had small government. That's what the anarchists and other groups, they're against government. When? When were you against government? When? When was government small? When? It never happened. But it can happen. Government is bad some kind of way, It wasn't bad when it's been working for y'all all of these years. It's been working for white America all of these years. Now that it's starting to work for other groups of people, it's bad. It's the same concept. When? But this reminds me of the olden days, back in the day when everybody was against communism. Oh, the commies and the communists and all of this. And we have some communist elements in our society too. We're not a communist nation, but we do have communist elements. We are a hybrid society. And I think that's a good thing. That we are a combination of so many different ideologies. But we try to reinvent history to shape our own narratives. Like America's a Christian country. Half of the founding fathers weren't Christians. Half of them. At least. At least. At least. It's just all of these nonsenses and these, again, we try to pick and cherry pick, different things to support our perspectives. And a lot of time it's just plain out ignorance, Plain out ignorance. This whole ideology of America being united, the United States of America. We aren't united. And again, people think this because they live in their own bubbles. They've never been anywhere else in the country. Once you travel around this country, you find out it's quite different depending on where you live in different parts of the country. We're not united. Our highways are united. Our rail system is united. But we as a people aren't united. And sometimes this is even true. You don't even have to go from state to state. You could look in towns and see the division in towns. Where people in the same towns see things completely opposite of others. Because they live in bubbles. The good side of town versus the bad side of town. It's just interesting to me. And this is because, like I've said before, many times before, we don't talk to one another. We form opinions that aren't really based on anything. And then we try to support our opinions when we talk to each other instead of just talking. If you want to know what I think, ask me what I think. Don't assume what I think, and I have that so much. I got people that they think they know what I'm talking, what my perspective is. Have never asked me. I've never stated it on particular topics. Sometimes I post videos or links and things that I find interesting. Just because I find it interesting doesn't mean I agree with it or disagree with it. But people, and I get this a lot from white people, they assume all black people are liberal and left wing. And I'm the furthest thing from being liberal. I have some conservative thoughts. I have some liberal thoughts. I have some moderate thoughts, depending on the issue. Overall, I'm a centrist. Maybe a moderate. But and then they just want to attack. They just attack what they think is my ideology, and they don't attack what I'm actually saying. They go way off topic and call me all kind of things and accuse me of all kind of stuff that I've never stated that I believed in, and I'm not even advocating for. But that's their own prejudices that's surfacing. And like I said, it's funny to me. It's real funny to me. Now, by me saying what I'm saying about socialism, I'm not advocating for a socialist nation. I don't think that would be a good idea. But some of the elements of socialism have been good. They have been good. I believe in checks and balances, and I think the various ideologies, they balance each other. They check and balance each other. So, but again, black people usually don't have these conversations, liberalism and socialism. These are dirty words to white people. Black people don't even have an understanding of it. They even have that conversation as a group, generally. So these are almost like curse words to white people. You're a fucking liberal. That's a curse word, to them. Or you're a fucking socialist. Or you're a fucking commie. And, that shit don't hurt me. That don't hurt black people. I don't give a fuck. But it's meant as an insult. Y'all need to get away from that shit. Because again, like I said, it's only a bad term when non-whites are getting the benefits of it. 2. And put that 2 in there. Once you drop below that 60-70%, it's a problem. Oh, I don't want them getting benefits too. But they can't be honest with themselves and admit that that's what it is. And just admit it. Because that's their own demons inside them. That's their own prejudice and bigotry inside them. They can't admit to that. Because nobody wants to be a bigot. Nobody wants to admit that they're prejudiced. Now, we all are. We all have bigotry and prejudices. Admit the shit. So we can progress and move forward. You can't clean your house if you refuse to acknowledge it's dirty. You can't do it. It won't get clean. If your house is fucked up and you don't acknowledge that it's fucked up, it's gonna stay fucked up. And that's what's been going on in America on a lot of levels. And it always has been. Again, make America great. When? When was it great? At what point? But that's this myth that it was. It was great for them. That's what they're saying. They want to go back to 1955, to Leave It to Beaver and all of that kind of shit. And the Andy Griffin. And they want to go back to that time. Because that was the golden years for them, as many of them see it. That was golden years. It wasn't that way for everybody. Until we can actually be a we got to start admitting our bullshit. We got to start. And that whole, I'm not racist, I'm not prejudiced, I'm not a bigot because I have a black friend. Do the fucking math. How many white people do you have in this country? How many black people do you have in this country? So how is it possible that every white person has a black friend? That would exceed the black population. Exceed it. A couple of times over. So we know that's bullshit. We know that's bullshit. Let's start being honest about it. Did your white ass just walk up in my house like that? I know you family and shit, but really, dude? No, I'm just playing, man. You know.
I close the door.
I know. I'm just messing with you. See, yeah, I got white people that actually come to my house. Okay, that's my daughter's boyfriend. Okay, he's here so much that he's comfortable enough to just walk in my house without knocking on the door, and that's fine. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. You know, and because I get accused of, oh, Van is racist, and you know, Van is against white people and shit. Yeah, that's why I feed this motherfucker every day, right? Because I don't like white people, so that's why I'm feeding them. Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, well, that's my one white friend. Okay, that's my one. I got one. Mm-hmm. We got to talk to each other and start owning our bullshit. Then we can progress. We got to stop protecting our bullshit and making excuses for it and justifying it and all of these other things. And that's black and white and other and yellow and brown and red. Because I can talk shit about the Native Americans too, okay? Every black person wants to be a Native American, when in fact that ain't even the damn case. Mostly that good hair you got is from your white your white cousins, okay? Your white grandfather. Take the DNA test. You want to prove me wrong? Take the DNA test. I have no Native American blood in me. So I challenge y'all. Take the DNA test. Take it. White people too. Y'all like to say, oh, I'm Native American. No, that's that black relative you ain't claiming. Let's be honest about it. Take the DNA test. And that what Trump told that senator or whatever? Take the DNA test? Yeah, I'm telling y'all to do the same damn thing. Take it. We find out we got a lot more in common than we thought. I claim my Irish side. I know them very well. My McKay side of my family. I know them very well. I know where my hair comes from. I know where my eye color comes from. I make no exceptions for that. But everybody has this Indian princess and shit that that was in their family bullshit. You know, get the fuck out of here. Take the DNA test. You want to prove it? Take the DNA test. They inexpensive. They like $60 now. Take the DNA test. If Van is a liar, take the DNA test. But we lie. Because we create this image and then we want to try to prove the lie. Instead of looking for the facts and letting the facts tell us what it is. But Native Americans, you know, they and it was tragic what happened to them. Okay? The genocide that happened to Native Americans was tragic. I'm not saying that it wasn't. But they participated too. See, every group of people has enslaved black people, including the Native Americans. In fact, the Native Americans was the last group of people to free slaves. And they had to be forced to do it. Because, see, they thought because they was living on those reservations, they didn't have to they didn't have to abide by the 13th Amendment. So it took 10 years after Civil War for them to give up some of their slaves. 10 years or more. They were the last group to give up their slaves. They had to be forced to do that. That wasn't democracy that did that. That wasn't capitalism that did that. That was big government with some fucking guns that went in there and said, nah, y'all can give these niggas up. That's what that was. But we so quick to cling to the Native Americans. Comical, hilarious, blasphemy. Stop claiming the motherfuckers. They don't give a fuck about you. Stop claiming them. And even if you do got some Native American in you, it's like 0.5% is so low on the damn DNA. It's ridiculous. You're ignoring that 30, 40% white that you got in you. Mine was like high 30s, like 38% or something. European. Let's be real about it. Let's be real about it. See, DNA don't lie. See, people been hiding shit for many years. White and black. And that's where that whole white nationalist mentality is getting this resurgent. They feel somebody is taking something from them. How? The concentration of black wealth has not changed. It's 0.5%. It's always been 0.5%. It's never changed. 0.5%. Got these motherfuckers going crazy and feel like somebody is taking something from them. That's insanity. If you got $1 and I take 0.5 penny from you, how do you can't get mad and feel like I've taken something from you. You still got $1, motherfucker. You got 100 white people, primarily white men, who have more wealth than every black person combined. That's including Jay-Z and Oprah and Puffy, okay, and LeBron. They got more money than all of us combined. Just 100. You could put them all in a room together. You could put them all in a room together. But white America, and I'm being very general when I say that, this is not, again, every white person. I hate having to make that disclaimer. But mainstream America feels that somebody is taking something from them, or somebody is getting over, and somebody got something or taking something that is theirs. Where the fuck do you think what you got came from? Socialism. It was given to you. It was taken from blacks and other groups. We paid taxes. That tax money was given to y'all as a group of people. And that's why we get this whole counter narrative to white privilege, okay? It doesn't exist. Here, I will prove it to you definitively. No white person has ever gotten in a car and was scared because they were white. They were never scared to drive and feel in the fear of police stopping them solely because they were white. Even in the black community, it's never happened. White people drive anywhere they want with no fear. Black people, even black people with wealth and power and privilege, still have a fear of driving black. That's your proof that it exists. That's your proof. So I'm interested. Let's have some conversation on this. And again, facts. I don't want to hear about your one black friend, your black coworker. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear about your Native American Indian princess great grandmother or some bullshit. I don't want to hear about that. If you think socialism is bad, that's what this whole thing has been about. In America, don't tell me about Germany. Don't tell me about Venezuela. Do not tell me about Russia. Tell me how it's been bad in America. And I'll wait. I'll wait. We all have benefited from socialism. We all have, to some degree. And it hasn't been bad.